Hey guys, Doc Patterson here, teaching pastor at Cap City, with a follow-up of week 5 of our Core 52, which focuses on the theme of holiness. Now, who wants to be a saint? I mean, to be honest, holiness kind of sounds boring to most people. Most people think holiness kind of means suppressing our natural desires or avoiding pleasure or living inside some kind of a super tight moral fence. I mean, they hear God's command for holiness as kind of like a cosmic no. But what if holiness isn't about being less human, but rather being fully human? What if holiness is pretty much about what we were made for? See, maybe the problem isn't that holiness itself is boring. Maybe it's just that too many boring people claim to be holier than thou. Now, I know that holiness is one of those big church words, and it's closely related to another big church word, sanctification. In fact, sanctification is kind of like the process of being made holy. A saint is kind of like a holy man, kind of. But let's dig a little deeper. The Hebrew word for holy is kadosh, which means literally to be set apart, to be different, to be sacred, and then to be holy. The Greek word is hagios, which means pretty much the same thing. First of all, to be set apart, to be different, to be sacred, and then to be holy. You see, at its core, holiness means to be set apart, to be different. And only after that, because you're set apart and different, does it mean purity. Kind of like living a set apart kind of life, a different kind of life that reflects the one that we love and serve. Now, holiness is one of those huge attributes of God Himself. A famous scene in Isaiah chapter 6, the seraphim cover their faces in God's presence, and they cover their feet in His presence, and they continually cry out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty." In fact, the whole earth is filled with His glory. This repeated, holy, 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 emphasizes first of all God's absolute uniqueness, His separateness, His transcendence, but it also captures His absolute moral and spiritual perfection. In fact, God's holiness is so pure, so powerful, that it's dangerous for a sinful human simply to come too close to His presence without purification. But holiness is not just who God is. Holiness is a gift God gives to His people. We are set apart by God. We're set apart for God. 1 Peter puts it like this: you're a chosen people. You are priests, a holy nation, God's own possession. But guys, holiness isn't just a gift from God, it's also a command. It's a command to live differently, to live lives that reflect this God we serve. Now, there's a big Bible idea that captures so many of the key words. You are, so be. Indicative, imperative. You are, so be. You're set apart by God. You're holy right now, so live that way. You're set apart, so be different. Do life God's way. It's both a gift and a command. The Apostle Peter puts it like this: but now you must be holy in everything that you do, just as the God who chose you is holy. Now, in practice, holiness means that we're the people of God. So we live a life that reflects the character of God, turning away from sin and aligning with God's will. Now, guys, that should not make life worse. C.S. Lewis put it like this: how little people know who thinks that holiness is dull. When one meets the real thing, it's irresistible. Holiness is irresistible. I read one descriptor of holiness like this. It says, in reality, saints are wildly courageous, socially disruptive, artistically generative, intellectually sharp, emotionally intense. We have challenged empires, comforted the broken, written the finest music and literature, founded movements, and faced death singing. Guys, holiness isn't a burden. It's a gift and a calling. A gift and a calling to a better kind of life, the life you were created for. In fact, I think that holiness pretty much means doing life with God, for God, God's way together. That's a saying that we use a lot here around Cap City. Doing life with God, for God, God's way together. That's pretty much what holiness is all about.